So, the newly crowned 2005 World Rally Champion Sébastien Loeb makes a triumphant return to his home event here on the Mediterranean island of Corsica. The Frenchman wrapped up the championship in Japan and is now focused on helping Citroën retain their manufacturer's title. It's been quite a year for the man from Alsace, but he's still searching for home success.
I won 3 times Germany, 3 times Monte Carlo, and never Corsica, so it would be great to have that this year.
And Citroën also need Francois Duval to continue his recent good form to secure vital manufacturers' points. Peugeot are 22 points behind Citroën, and a lot rests on the shoulders of Marcus Grönholm, who won last time out in Japan. And Frenchman Nicolas Bernardi, who stands in for Marco Martin here and at the next round in Spain. In the Drivers' Championship, attention has switched to the battle for second place, with Grönholm 6 points ahead of Subaru's Petter Solberg. And there's confirmation of Citroën's 22-point lead in the Manufacturers' Championship. The driver market for next season is starting to take shape, with the first big announcement coming from Ford. They have signed Marcus Grönholm.
As you can imagine, absolutely delighted to get his signature. Obviously, especially with the new car coming along as well. And okay, it's sort of altered all our strategy, because the plan was to go for the championships in 07 and 08. But obviously, when the opportunity arose that somebody like him would be available, then obviously we pushed the boat out to really try and find a way to get him on board.
Subaru's challenge here in Corsica is headed by Petter Solberg, with Frenchman Stéphane Sarrazin in support, and it's a driver lineup team boss David Lapworth seems happy with.
Petter clearly is our #1 driver, and hopefully will be for a long time to come. And Stéphane and Chris are both doing a great job. We've been happy with what they've done so far, and unless something changes over the next few weeks, which I don't expect, we'll carry on pretty much as we are.
The Tour de Corse is known as the rally of 10,000 corners, and with the unpredictable weather at this time of year, it can turn out to be one of the most exciting events of the season. The relentless series of corners means constant braking and gear changes, and with the high G-forces involved, it's tough on cars and drivers alike. Mitsubishi will hope to continue their impressive season, with 2-time Corsica winner Gilles Panizzi representing the Japanese manufacturer. While Skoda will be looking for improvements with their local expert in the shape of Alex Bengay. The Rallye de France is based, as always, in Corsica's capital city, Ajaccio, and although there are only 12 stages used, at an average of 28 kilometres, these are some of the longest in the championship. Great reception for the world champion at the start ramp in Ajaccio, and how Sébastien Loeb would love to win here in front of his home fans. Despite the ever-present threat of rain, it's a fine day that greets the drivers, so a dry road ahead for Loeb as he prepares to start the 33 kilometres of stage 1.
Droite 130 000, on va prendre sur gauche, 50 mètres au champ de notre gauche et droite 50 000.
Off he goes then. Citroën's #1 is undoubtedly the favourite this weekend, and very rarely this season has he failed to deliver.
Et droite 120 et 3. Sur gauche à Pont-Roux, maintenant 130 000. Et droite 145 au changement vert.
Marcus Gronholm will be hoping for wet weather. His Pirelli tyres will probably only be a match for Loeb's Michelins if we get some rain here in Corsica. The Finn will be full of confidence, though, following his second win of the season in Japan, and will be pushing hard to claim a maiden win on tarmac as his time with Peugeot nears an end. Here comes Loeb's split time after 13.2 kilometres. Well, just over 8 minutes and 2 seconds. That's going to take some beating. Gronholm is closing on the same points now, and we can get an early indication of Loeb's and Gronholm's pace. It's not looking good. He's already slower. 5.3 seconds down already. As expected, Loeb is looking like the man to beat. It's a faultless performance here on stage one for the world champion. Even at this early stage, Loeb is looking ominously quick. Back with Gronholm as he closes on the finish line. The two-time world champion is still giving it his all, but one look at his time, and it's already obvious he's not going to match Loeb's pace. No, 13.1 seconds slower. It was a very long stage, but that is still a lot of time to lose this early in the rally. But Gronholm is philosophical as ever.
Marcus, it's a long stage to start today. Could be tricky on tyres, but how did you take it?
Yeah, there is no news in the times. Just normal.
Petter Solberg is a previous winner here in Corsica, but he was assisted greatly by a heavy rainfall in 2003, and unless that happens again this year, the Norwegian too may struggle to match Loeb.
6 left minus half long, opens with a 6 right bus, 18, 6 left bus, 6 right bus, 20.
He's fifth fastest and 20 seconds behind the world champion. Francois Duval was fighting for victory here last season when driving for Ford until engine failure ended his challenge. The Belgian excels on tarmac, and the changeable weather makes conditions very similar to that of his homeland. He's backing up Loeb well so far, fourth fastest after stage one. Peugeot stand-in driver Nicola Bernardi, meanwhile, is struggling to make an impact.
Sur gauche pour Minon, sortie frein 40 mètres, épingle droite 10. Gauche pour Minon, sortie frein 40 mètres, épingle droite 10, loin corde. Épingle droite 10, loin corde. Sur gauche pont.
Oh dear, this is his first drive in the 307 in competition, and he's obviously not got to grips with the car just yet. The Frenchman is over a minute off the pace, which is not going to help Peugeot in the manufacturer's standings.
Loin corde gauche, 80 points.
A better start for Ford's Tony Gardemeister, though. He's third fastest on stage one, 15 seconds off Loeb's time. Subaru have high hopes of Stéphane Sarrazin this weekend. Oh, but that's an early mistake for the Frenchman. A slight misjudgment at that hairpin, but that's a reasonable recovery, and he shouldn't lose too much time there. Stéphane is seventh after stage one. Teammate Chris Atkinson achieved his best finish of the season in Japan in third, but the Australian is still very inexperienced on tarmac. Oh dear, well, he's made exactly the same mistake as Sarrazin, and that's a very frustrating start for the two Subaru drivers. Former Tour de Corse winner Gilles Panizzi's the leading Mitsubishi in 8th, but over 43 seconds off the pace, and he's not happy.
I know perfectly this stage, perfectly. Look, the tarmac is completely clear. The car moves everywhere. Impossible, impossible.
And just 2.4 seconds behind is fellow Frenchman and leading Skoda driver Alex Bengay. So a promising start for the Czech team here. So an early 13-second advantage for Sébastien Loeb, but it's very tight behind the world champion. Just 4 seconds separate Gronholm, Gardemeister and Duval. Alex Bengay is within touching distance of the point-scoring places, but a disappointing start for Mitsubishi, Gigi Gali and Harry Rovanpera. Can Grönholm close the gap on Loeb? Find out after the break. Welcome back to the Rallye de France, where the day has not started well for Chris Atkinson.
Chris, we're on the road section between stage 1 and 2. Bonnet's up. It looks like it's finished. What's happened?
Yeah, this is not the way to get tarmac experience, that's for sure. We had an okay run on the first stage, came on the road section here, parked to take our helmets off, then drove on, and the clutch started slipping. We rolled all the way down the hill and tried to fix it at the bottom here, but can't go any further.
So a frustrating end to his first leg, but the Australian should be back tomorrow to drive under Super Rally rules. Stage 2 is the 28-kilometre Olaine test. Atkinson's teammate Petter Solberg is thankfully having a better first day in Corsica. Recent developments have improved the handling of the Impreza, and a new tyre compound for tarmac from Pirelli has Petter hoping for a podium finish this weekend.
Into 4, right plus half long, 80. Right into 5 left lost tightens, opens 30.
A typical Corsican stage here with a hill on one side and a sheer drop on the other. There is no margin for error.
Tightens short, they're 40.
These cars are averaging speeds of just under 100 kilometres an hour on some of the most treacherous stages in the world. The corners are relentless, and with such long stages, it's a real test of concentration for the drivers.
36 left opens 30, keep right of the crest, slow 6 left minus, don't cut short 2 right. 50. 4 left minus, tightens 3, slippy maybe. Into 4 right minus, half long, tights of it, 30. Cut short, 5 left lost, 40, 6 right lost into 5 left, half long.
Solberg remains 5th for now, but still within touch of Francois Duval.
Opens, 40. 5 right left.
The third Subaru driver, Stefan Sarrazin, has recovered his composure after his earlier spin and is looking very quick. The Frenchman finished 6th here last year on his first attempt at the Tour de Corse, and he moves into the same place on stage 2. Marcus Grönholm has surprised many with his early pace. The Peugeot 307's predecessor, the 206, was a proven winner on tarmac, but the current car has yet to emulate that success.
Ja vasen eri pyöree. 7. Liukas jarrutus, oikea hidas. Ja vasen hidas, soraa liukasta.
The Finn 2 has yet to claim victory on a sealed surface event, but the 5th fastest time is good enough to maintain his current 2nd place.
5. Vasen eri, tiukka kirraa. 5.
It's been a good start too for Ford's #1 driver, Tony Gardemeister, on the 100th rally for the Ford Focus. The Finn season has lost some momentum of late, but the Ford Focus was victorious here last year with Marco Martin behind the wheel, and Tony is certainly displaying the car's speed on tarmac this morning. He was only 2.3 seconds behind Grönholm coming into this stage.
Jatkuu oikein täys uskon 5. Oikein täys miinus hämää sisältä, vasen täys maali. Stop.
And that's another good time for Gardemeister. He's 3rd fastest and now just a second behind his compatriot. Things are looking good for Citroën in the Manufacturers' Championship. Francois Duval is once again playing the perfect supporting role to Sébastien Loeb. With the team leaving the sport at the end of the year, though, the Belgian currently does not have a drive for next season. He's 2nd fastest on stage 2 and closing on Gardemeister. Sébastien Loeb claims his 2nd win of the day and is truly in a league of his own. He's over 13 seconds quicker than anyone else on stage 2. Further back, though, the competition is as fierce as ever. Danny Sola has started well, although he does lose his 6th place to Sarrazin on stage 2. One of Ford's nominated drivers, Roman Cresta, though, is currently just outside the point-scoring places in 9th. Mitsubishi's #1 driver, Harry Rovanperä, is faring no better. The Finn has limited experience on tarmac, and he is currently down in 12th. And there's more bad news for the Japanese manufacturer. Local expert Panizzi has suspension problems and drops from 8th to 13th. So Loeb's lead already an impressive 26.7 seconds after just 2 stages, while the battle for second could hardly be tighter. The crews head back to the service park in the port of Ajaccio, where it's a spectacular backdrop for the waiting teams. Citroën and Sébastien Loeb are once again proving a potent combination on tarmac.
What do you do differently on asphalt compared to gravel? Is it about more commitment on asphalt?
It's completely different. On gravel you have a lot less grip, and so you have to brake earlier, you are sliding always. On tarmac you brake very late. In some fast corner you can really go very fast, and but you have to use the good lines and everything. It's in some stages it's a bit more like circuit racing.
So Loeb's flying, and it seems there's not much the man in second can do.
You think Sebastian's got this in the bag already?
I think so, yes. Without any problems and mistakes, yes.
It's going to be a long weekend for you then?
Yeah, once again. But what can we do?
Repeated runs through the morning stages next, so back to the 32 kilometres of Ampazza. Despite his pessimism, it's been an impressive start from Marcus Grönholm on his least favourite surface. The Finn finished second here in 2002, and at the moment he's on course to repeat that performance, but his position is coming under real pressure this afternoon.
5 vasen eri helppo sisältä, 5 vasen pitkä eri miinuskirraa, oikea täys 150, vasen nopea kirraa.
Marcus, looking at the split times, it's not been a great stage. You potentially could lose 2 places in there.
I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, okay. We will see.
Grönholm is looking worried, and compatriot Tony Gardemeister is pushing hard to catch the Peugeot driver. He's under extra pressure this weekend, which ironically is because of the man he's chasing. With Grönholm signing for Ford for next season, suddenly Gardemeister's position with the team is not so secure. He was just a second behind before this stage, and this is looking very fast. Half a second quicker than Grönholm, and the same margin now separates the 2 Finns.
Is it quite rough in there? A lot of gravel now?
Yeah, it's very rough in the end, and you know, I tried to be in the middle of the road, but it was tricky.
Francois Duval was at times as quick as his teammate Loeb on the last tarmac event in Germany. However, he's been unable to match the searing pace of the world champion so far today. But he is looking quicker on stage 3. The Belgian was only 2.5 seconds behind Grönholm's second place coming into this stage, and Grönholm has really raised his game here. Yes, that's a terrific time from Citroën's number 2, 11 seconds quicker than Grönholm, and he jumps 2 places to second.
Francois, great stage. You're up to second now with that time.
Yes, it's not so bad time. Now the tire choice is quite better. As well, the setting is quite better. The confidence comes back slowly, but it's not completely here.
After retiring in both Monte Carlo and Germany, Skoda are hoping to see an improvement from Alex Bengay in Corsica. He's currently the team's leading driver and is looking competitive today. There is some frustration for the Czech team, though, when a Czech driver passes Bengay for 8th on stage 3. Roman Cresta is on a charge this afternoon.
je levá 3,2, brzda pravé 2, do 30 levé 5 minus. 30, pravá 4, 60, brzda v koleji levá 21, do 40 pravé.
No sign of a change in fortunes for Mitsubishi and Harry Rovanperä, though.
Pitkä vasen eri plus, auki 7. Pitkä vasen eri lopussa sisään Corse.
With Panizzi plummeting down the leaderboard following his suspension problems, the Finn is now the team's leading driver, down in 14th.
Nypyn yli oikea K sisältä, jatkaa pitkä vasen K kääntyy.
Sebastian Loeb is just 3 wins away from setting a new WRC record of 11 victories in a season, and after his performance so far today, he's on course to claim one more. Once again, Loeb is fastest on stage 3. The world champion's advantage now over half a minute, but it's his teammate Duval who's now his closest rival, with Gronholm now under threat from Gardemeister. The last stage of day 1 coming up after the break. Just one stage remains on the first leg of the Rallye de France. Marcus Gronholm has begun to lose momentum after a strong start to the day, and there is a real problem here. The 307's transmission problems have returned, and he's lost third gear. This is incredibly frustrating. The fragile reliability of the car has looked much improved this season, but the problems have returned at the worst possible time.
The gearbox is blocked now and I cannot move from here, so